The small silver ship cut through the darkness of space as it approached the blue and green planet. Mira had traveled across 17 star systems to reach this world called Earth. She gripped the control panel tighter as the ship began its descent into the atmosphere. Her 4 hearts beat quickly inside her chest. This was it. After 7 years of searching, she would finally meet the human who had saved her life. Mira was not like humans. Her skin shimmered with a pale blue glow that brightened when she felt strong emotions. Her eyes were large and completely black without any white parts. Her fingers were long and thin with small webs between them, and the gills on her neck fluttered gently as she breathed. She came from a water planet called Aquari. In a distant part of the galaxy 7 years ago, Mira had been captured by space pirates. They wanted to sell her to collectors who paid high prices for rare aliens. The pirates kept her in a small cage without enough water. Her skin had dried out and her gills had begun to fail. She thought she would die there alone, far from her ocean home. But one day, while the pirate ship was docked at a trading post, a human female had found her. The human worked in medicine on a small Earth ship that was also at the trading post. When she saw Mira dying in the cage, she did not walk away like others had done. Instead, she broke the lock during the night and carried Mira to safety. Mira remembered little about her rescuer. She had been too weak and sick from lack of water. The human had helped her into a small escape pod, filled it with water, and sent her toward a nearby friendly planet. She remembered kind brown eyes, a gentle voice, and the name Kate. That was all. But it was enough to start her search as her ship entered Earth's atmosphere. Mira activated the cloaking device to hide from human detection systems. She had spent years learning human languages and customs. She knew they were not ready to meet aliens openly. The ship computer had tracked the medical signature of the human who had helped her. It was a slow process, but finally, it had found a match in a place called Oregon. Mira landed her ship in a forest clearing and stepped out onto Earth soil for the first time. The air felt strange in her lungs, but her body could adapt to it for short periods. She pressed a small button on her wrist, and a shimmer covered her body. The device created a human appearance over her alien form. Now she looked like a tall woman with light skin and brown hair, her alien features hidden beneath the disguise. She followed the tracking device through the trees until she reached a road. Cars passed by as she walked along the edge. This part of Oregon had many trees and mountains. It felt peaceful to Mira. She walked for 2 hours before reaching a small town named Pine Ridge. The tracker led her to a simple house at the end of a quiet street. Mira stood in front of the house, watching as the sun began to set. Her 4 hearts felt like they might burst from her chest. What would she say to the human who had saved her life? What if this Kate did not remember her, or worse, did not want to see her again? Mira almost turned to leave when the front door opened. Woman stepped onto the porch. She looked about 40 years old with brown hair pulled back and those same kind eyes Mira remembered. She wore clothes that looked comfortable rather than fancy, and she carried a small bag of trash to a bin beside. The house. When she noticed Mira standing there, she stopped and looked at her with curiosity. "Can I help you?" the woman asked. Her voice sent a wave of memory through Mira. It was the same voice that had whispered, "Stay strong, little one," as she had placed Mira in the escape pod. Mira swallowed hard and spoke using the human language she had practiced for years. "I am looking for someone named Kate, a doctor who might have worked on a space vessel called the Horizon." 7 years ago, the woman set down the trash bag slowly, her face changing from friendly curiosity to shock. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Mira looked around to make sure no other humans were watching. Then she turned off her disguise for just a moment, letting her true form shimmer in the fading light before turning it back on. The woman gasped and put a hand over her mouth. "My God," she said, "it really is you. But how I have been searching for you for 7 years." Mira said, "I had to thank the human who saved my life." Kate looked up and down the street, then quickly motioned for Mira to come inside. "Come in quickly before someone sees you." Mira followed Kate into the house. It was simple but comfortable with soft furniture and pictures on the walls. Many small plants grew in pots by the windows. Kate closed the door and all the curtains before turning back to Mira. "I never thought I'd see you again," Kate said. "I didn't even know if you survived after the escape pod launched. There was so much chaos. That night the pirates discovered what I had done and our ship had to leave quickly. I survived," Mira said. "I have wanted to thank you ever since." She reached into a pocket and pulled out a small glowing stone. It was rare and precious on her world. "This is for you, a gift from my ocean home. It will never stop glowing, just as my gratitude will never end." Kate took the stone with gentle hands, her eyes wide with wonder. "I didn't help you for a reward," she said. "I did it because it was right. No living being deserves to be caged and left to die." Mira nodded. "This is why I had to find you. I needed to understand why a human would risk her life for an alien she did not know. My people have always feared other species. We stay hidden in our oceans, but you showed me that some beings are worth knowing." Kate smiled and gestured for Mira to sit down. "I have so many questions," she said. "Where have you been all these years? How did you find me?" As the night grew darker outside, Mira began to tell her story, and for the first time since leaving her homeworld, she felt she might have found a friend. Kate made tea as Mira sat on the couch looking around the small living room. Human homes were so different from the underwater chambers of her people. The air felt dry but not uncomfortable. The disguise device helped her skin retain moisture while she appeared human. "I still can't believe you found me," Kate said as she returned with 2 cups of steaming liquid. "You traveled across multiple star systems just to say thank you." "It was more than that," Mira explained. "After you rescued me, I returned to my homeworld, but I could not forget what happened. The elders of my people have always taught us that other species, especially humans, are dangerous and should be avoided. But you showed me this was not always true." I needed to understand why. Kate handed Mira a cup of tea. "Be careful, it's hot," she warned. Then she sat in a chair across from her alien visitor. "You risked a lot coming here. Earth governments don't officially know about alien life. They might react badly if they discovered you." Mira nodded. "My ship is hidden and this disguise is very good, but yes, there was risk. I studied your language and customs for 3 years before attempting this journey." She sipped the tea carefully. Her species could eat some human foods, but others made her sick. This tea tasted strange but pleasant. "How did you even find me?" Kate asked. "There are billions of humans on Earth." Mira reached into a small pouch at her waist and pulled out what looked like a thin metal card. "When you helped me into the escape pod, your hand had a small cut. It left biological traces. I was able to use these to create a tracking signature. It took years to narrow down the location, but your genetic pattern is unique." Kate looked impressed and slightly concerned. "That sounds like very advanced technology. On my world, we focus on biological sciences rather than mechanical ones," Mira explained. "We can track any living thing that leaves a trace. It is how we find food in the deep oceans." As they talked, Kate told Mira about her life. After the incident with the pirates, she had left her job on the space vessel and returned to Earth. The company she worked for did secret research on space medicine. They traveled to distant outposts, treating human workers, but were not supposed to interact with alien species. Kate had broken many rules by helping Mira. "I lost my job when they found out what I did," Kate said, "but I don't regret it." She looked at the glowing stone Mira had given her. The soft blue light pulsed gently, like a heartbeat. "They told us your species was dangerous, but all I saw was a dying being who needed help." Mira felt a wave of emotion. Her inner light glowed brighter beneath her disguise. "My people are not dangerous," she said. "We are private. We have technologies and resources others might want to take, so we stay hidden. The pirates who captured me wanted to sell me to collectors of rare species. As night fell, they continued to share stories." Mira learned that Kate now worked at a small medical clinic in town helping humans who could not afford expensive care. Kate learned that Mira was a scientist who studied other life forms, something her people rarely allowed. After several hours, Kate showed Mira around the small house. The kitchen with its many devices for preparing food. The bathroom, which fascinated Mira with its abundance of fresh water simply used for cleaning. The bedroom with its soft bed where humans spent nearly a third of their lives sleeping. I need to return to my ship. Soon, Mira said. The disguise will not last forever and I must refresh my moisture levels. Kate looked concerned. How long can you stay on Earth? My ship has a water chamber where I can recover. Mira explained I plan to stay for 7 days if possible. I have so many questions about humans and Earth. Then you must come back tomorrow. Kate said I work until evening, but after that we can talk more. She hesitated, then asked, Where is your ship? Can I see it? Mira considered the request. Her people would forbid showing their technology to other species, but Kate had already proven herself trustworthy. Maybe I can show you tomorrow night, she said. They agreed to meet again the next evening. Kate wrote down her communication number in case Mira needed help. As Mira prepared to leave, she turned to Kate. There is one more thing I wanted to ask, she said. Why did you call me Little One when you rescued me? My species is much larger than humans. Kate smiled. That is just something humans sometimes say to those they want to protect. It was not about your size. This made Mira think deeply as she walked back through the town toward her hidden ship. Humans were strange and complex beings. They had expressions that meant different things than the words. Themselves suggested they were emotional and unpredictable, yet some like Kate showed great kindness. When Mira reached her ship, she removed her disguise with relief. Her blue skin glowed in the darkness as she entered the small craft. Inside, she immersed herself in the water chamber, letting her dry gills and skin absorb the moisture. As she floated there, she thought about Kate and their conversation. The elders of her world would be angry if they knew she had revealed herself to a human. They believed contact with other species would eventually destroy their peaceful existence, but Mira was beginning to think differently. Perhaps some connections between different beings could bring good things, not just danger. She would return tomorrow and learn more about this human who had saved her life. Perhaps there was a way for their two species to understand each other better. Perhaps she could be the first of her kind to build a bridge between worlds. As Mira drifted in the healing waters, she felt something new growing inside her, something humans might call hope. The next day, Mira woke in her water chamber feeling refreshed. She activated the ship systems to check for any detection by humans. Everything seemed secure. She prepared for another day on Earth, selecting a different human appearance from her disguise device. Today, she would look like a woman with darker skin and shorter hair. This would help avoid suspicion if anyone from town saw her twice. Before leaving the ship, Mira sent a brief message back to her home world. It would take nearly a month to reach a quarry at light speed. She simply reported that her research expedition was proceeding well. She did not mention finding Kate or revealing herself to a human. The elders would recall her immediately if they knew. The day was bright. As Mira walked through the forest toward town, her sensors indicated that Kate was at the medical facility working. She decided to explore the small human settlement while waiting for evening. She was careful to act natural, remembering all her studies of human behavior. The town of Pine Ridge had just a few thousand humans living in it. Mira walked along the main street, observing them as they went about their daily activities. She saw humans greeting each other, sharing food at small restaurants, and exchanging items in shops. It seemed peaceful, much like her own community, but so different in its details. Mira entered a place called a library. Her research indicated this was where humans stored knowledge. She was curious about what they knew of the universe. A kind older female helped her find information, though Mira was careful not to ask questions that might seem strange. She spent hours reading about Earth history and science, noting how much humans had discovered and how much they still did not know. They had theories about life on other planets, but most seemed focused on finding small, simple organisms. They did not know how many advanced civilizations existed in the galaxy. Mira's people knew of over 40 intelligent species, though they avoided contact with most as evening approached. Mira left the library and walked toward Kate's house. The tracking device showed that Kate had returned home. Mira felt her heart's beating faster as she knocked on the door. Kate opened it. with a smile. "Welcome back," she said. "Come in. I made dinner, though. I'm not sure what foods are safe for you." Mira stepped inside. Removing her outer jacket, I brought some nutrition supplies from my ship, she said, pulling out small blue cubes from her pocket. "But I would like to try some of your food if possible. My species can digest many types of plant matter." They sat at Kate's small kitchen table. Kate had prepared a meal of vegetables and grains. She watched nervously as Mira cautiously tasted each item. Some flavors were too strong and made Mira's gills flutter beneath her disguise, but others were pleasant, especially what Kate called rice and carrots. As they ate, Kate asked many questions about Mira's world. What is it like living underwater all the time? Do you have cities? Do you have families? Like humans? Mira described her ocean home where huge dome structures housed thousands of her kind. "We build with living materials." She explained corals and plants that grow into the shapes we need. "Our cities glow with bioluminescence so bright you can see them from miles away." She told Kate about her family group, how young ones were raised by the entire community, rather than just two parents like humans. She explained their long lifespans. Mira's species could live for 200 Earth years, and she was considered quite young at 30. After dinner, Kate asked, "Do you still want to show me your ship?" Mira nodded. "I think I can trust you, but we must be careful. No one can see us leave or follow us." They waited until full darkness, then left through the back door of Kate's house. Mira led the way through the trees, using her natural night vision to avoid obstacles. Kate followed close behind, carrying a small light. While Mira's disguise made her look human, it did not hide her special abilities. She could see heat patterns in the dark and sense electrical fields, which helped her navigate. The walk took nearly an hour. Kate seemed nervous but excited. "Is it much further?" she whispered. "Just ahead," Mira replied. As they approached the clearing, Mira pressed a button on her wrist device. The air in front of them seemed to ripple, and suddenly a small silver ship appeared. Kate's mouth opened in wonder. "It's beautiful," she said. The ship was shaped like a teardrop, smooth and seamless, with no visible doors or windows. "How do you get inside?" Mira placed her hand on the side of the ship. A section melted away, creating an opening. "It responds to my biological signature," she explained. "Only I can open it." She gestured for Kate to follow her inside. The interior of the ship glowed with soft blue light, similar to Mira's natural skin color. There were few hard surfaces. Most of the walls seemed alive, pulsing gently. Kate reached out to touch one, then pulled back. "It's okay," Mira said. "The ship is partially organic. It will not harm you." Kate touched the wall, feeling it warm and slightly damp beneath her fingers. "This is incredible," she whispered. "What powers?" Mira showed her the heart of the ship, a crystal chamber filled with swirling energy. "We harness the natural energy patterns of living systems," she explained. "Your scientists might call it bioenergy." In the center of the ship was the water chamber where Mira rested. It looked like a small pool filled with glowing liquid. Kate watched as Mira turned off her disguise, revealing her true form. Tall, with shimmering blue skin, large black eyes, and the delicate gills that lined her neck and ribcage. Her fingers were webbed, and her movements more fluid than any human. "Is it okay if I remove these outer coverings?" Mira asked, pointing to her clothes. "They are not needed in my natural form." Kate nodded and turned away to give her privacy, though Mira found this strange. Her people did not share the human concept of body shame. Mira slipped into the water chamber with a sigh of relief. The special liquid restored her moisture and energy. She could speak to Kate through the ship's translation system. Even underwater, this liquid contains nutrients and minerals from my homeworld. Mira explained, "I must immerse myself at least once each day to maintain my health." Kate sat beside the chamber, watching with fascination as Mira's skin glowed brighter in the water. "Does your whole planet know about humans?" she asked. "No," Mira replied. "Most of my people avoid all contact with other species. Our elders believe isolation is safety. But some of us, some scientists like me, believe we can learn from others. The galaxy is too vast to hide forever." They talked For hours, Kate telling Mira about her life growing up on Earth, her work helping others, her dreams of space travel. Mira sharing stories of deep ocean explorations and the wonders of her water world. By the time they noticed how late it had become, the moons of Earth had traveled far across the sky. I should return you to your home, Mira said reluctantly. The journey is long in darkness. As they prepared to leave, Mira noticed something strange on her ship's sensors. An unusual energy signature was moving through the forest toward them. She checked the readings again and felt her heart freeze with fear. We must hurry, she told Kate. Someone is coming, and the energy pattern matches weapons I have encountered before. Someone hunting for alien life. Kate looked alarmed. Hunter, she whispered. Who would be looking for aliens here? Mira quickly activated her ship's security systems. The outer cloaking resumed, making the vessel invisible again. There are groups on many worlds who hunt rare species, she explained. Sometimes for collection, sometimes for profit. I have encountered their energy signatures before. The ship sensors showed 3 figures moving through the forest. They carried devices that emitted scanning pulses, searching for non-human technology. We cannot leave now. Mira said they would detect the ship's movement. We must wait until they pass. She activated her disguise again, transforming back into human appearance. And you must return home before dawn, or others might become suspicious. Kay shook her head firmly. I won't leave you alone with hunters nearby. You saved me once. I can help protect you. Now Mira felt a strange warmth at Kate's words. No one had ever offered to protect her before. On her world, the community protected everyone, but individual protection was not their way. She checked the sensors again. The hunters were moving in a search pattern about half a mile from their location. The ship has defenses, Mira said, but using them would reveal our presence. We must simply wait and hope they move on. She explained that her kind believed in avoiding conflict whenever possible. Violence was rare among her people. While they waited, Kate asked more about the hunters. Who are they exactly? Are they human? Some may be. Mira replied, but many are from other worlds. There is a black market for exotic species, technology, and biological samples. Her voice grew sad. Some collectors keep sentient beings as living trophies. This is what would have happened to me if you had not helped me escape. Kate looked horrified. That's terrible. It's slavery? Mira nodded. Many advanced species have moved beyond such cruelty, but greed exists throughout the galaxy. She checked the sensors again. The hunters had changed direction, moving away from the ship. They must have detected something else. We may be safe for now, Mira said, but I am concerned they should not be here in this remote area unless they detected something. She thought for a moment. I fear my journey to Earth may have left traces they could follow. Even with my precautions, Kate reached out and touched Mira's arm gently. It was the first time they had made physical contact since Mira's rescue years ago. We will figure this out, she said. You came across the galaxy to find me. We can solve this problem together. As the night progressed, they watched the hunters' movements on the ship's display. They talked in low voices, sharing more about their lives. Mira learned that Kate lived alone by choice. She had been married once, but it had ended years ago. She had no children but cared for many in her medical work. Kate learned that Mira's people formed deep bonds with small groups rather than partnerships. They raised young ones communally and valued knowledge above all else around. Midnight, the sensors showed the hunters returning to a vehicle at the edge of the forest. They appeared to be leaving. Mira and Kate both sighed with relief. I should get you home, Mira said. It is late and you have work tomorrow. But how will you stay safe? Kate asked. What if the hunters return? Mira explained that her ship could move to a new location. She would find a more secure place deeper in the forest. I will contact you tomorrow, she promised. As they prepared to leave, Mira gathered some items from her ship, small devices that looked like ordinary Earth objects. A watch that could track hunter energy signatures, a pendant that could send emergency signals to her ship, a small tube that contained a healing gel that worked on most species, including humans. Take these, she told Kate. They look normal but can help keep you safe. The watch will warn you if hunters come near. Kate put on the watch and pendant, thanking Mira. They left the ship, which vanished behind them as the cloaking reactivated. Mira led Kate through the forest using a different path than before. She could sense electrical fields which helped her avoid the areas where the hunters had been. By the time they reached Kate's house, the sky was beginning to lighten. "Stay safe, Kate," said as they parted. "Promise you will contact me tomorrow." Mira promised, then watched as Kate entered her house. When the door closed, she felt strangely alone. Despite the danger, she had enjoyed their time together. She had never connected with another, being this way not even among her own kind. Instead of returning directly to her ship, Mira found a high ridge overlooking the town and forest. From there, she could see in all directions, making sure no hunters remained in the area. The sunrise turned, the sky beautiful colors. Her world had two suns, so the single sun of Earth seemed strange but lovely. As Mira watched the day begin, she thought about what had happened. The hunters' presence concerned her. They should not have been in this area unless they had detected something unusual. Had her journey to Earth been noticed? Had she led danger to Kate's peaceful town? She decided she would need to move her ship today. Find a more secure location, perhaps in the mountains where the terrain would help mask its energy signature. She would also need to be more careful in town. Perhaps limit her visits to Kate to avoid creating a pattern. But even as she planned these precautions, Mira knew she would not leave Earth yet. Not now, when she had finally found Kate, not when they were just beginning to understand each other. Her mission to simply thank her rescuer had become something more. A chance to build a connection between their worlds. A chance to learn and grow as the sun rose higher. Mira made her way back through the forest to her ship. She would rest during the day, then find a safer location. She had much to think about. What were the hunters seeking? Would they return? How long could she safely remain on Earth? And most important, what was this growing feeling she had when she was with Kate? A feeling her people rarely experienced, but humans seemed to value greatly. Something they called friendship. Her four hearts beat with new purpose. She had crossed the galaxy to find one. Human now, she would do whatever was needed to protect that human from the danger that might have followed her. Mira entered her ship and began planning. She would not lose Kate again, not after searching so long to find her. 3 days passed with no sign of the hunters. Mira had moved her ship to a cave in the mountains, where the natural rock formations helped mask its energy signature. She visited Kate each evening, always using different routes and disguises. They were careful, never staying together too long, never establishing patterns that might be noticed. On the 4th day, Mira was in town wearing the appearance of a tall, red-headed woman. She had just left the library when the watch on her wrist vibrated. Softly, the warning signal. She looked down at the small display. A hunter energy signature was moving toward the medical clinic where Kate worked. Mira moved quickly through the streets, trying not to draw attention. She could not run. That would look suspicious to other humans, but she needed to reach Kate before the hunter did. She sent an alert to Kate's pendant, hoping she would see it and leave the building. When Mira reached the clinic, she saw a black vehicle parked outside. A man in dark clothing stood near the entrance. He appeared human, but Mira's sensors indicated he was not entirely so. Probably augmented with alien technology. His eyes swept the street as if searching for something or someone. Mira stayed back, watching from the doorway of a nearby shop. She needed to warn Kate but could not approach while the hunter was there. She sent another signal to the pendant, this one more urgent. A few minutes later, she saw Kate exit the clinic from a side door. She was walking casually, looking at her phone as if checking messages, but Mira could tell she had received the warning. Kate turned away from the hunter and walked quickly down the street. Not looking back, Mira followed at a distance, watching as Kate made her way toward the edge of town. They had planned escape routes during their evening talks. Kate was following one, now heading toward a small nature trail that would allow her to circle back to her house, avoiding main roads. The hunter remained at the clinic for several minutes, then returned to his vehicle and drove away. Mira tracked his movement using her wrist device, making sure he was truly leaving before she hurried to catch up with Kate. They met on the forest path. Kate looked worried. "Did you see him?" she asked. "Yes." Mira confirmed he had hunter technology but looked human. "I believe they are searching for my energy signature. They must have detected my ship when I arrived on Earth." They walked quickly through the trees, talking in low voices. "I think we should leave," Kate said suddenly. Her words surprised Mira. "Leave the town." Mira said, "This is your home, your life. I cannot ask you to leave because of me." Kate stopped walking and turned to face Mira. "I helped you escape once," she said. "These hunters would capture you if they could. I won't let that happen." She took a deep breath. "I have been thinking about this since we saw them in the forest. I don't have much here. The clinic can find another doctor. The house is rented. I could go anywhere." Mira felt her heart beating faster. "You would leave your world for me?" "Not my world." Kate smiled. "Just this small part of it. We could go somewhere remote, where the hunters would not look. A place where you could be safer while on Earth." They discussed possibilities as they walked, sometimes stopping to make sure they were not followed. Kate suggested places in the mountains far from towns where few humans lived, places where Mira could move about more freely, where they could continue to learn from each other. By the time they reached Kate's house, they had formed a plan. Kate would take a leave from the clinic claiming a family emergency. She would pack only what was necessary. They would travel to a cabin Kate knew about near a mountain lake. It was isolated, with no close neighbors. "I can be ready by tomorrow evening," Kate said. Mira nodded. "I will prepare my ship for short relocation. We must be careful. The hunters might be watching." That night, Mira returned to her ship in the mountain cave. She sent another message home continuing her cover story about research. She checked all systems, making sure the ship was ready to move. Meanwhile, Kate packed quickly, gathering only essential items. She told only one person at the clinic that she needed emergency leave, not saying where she was going. The next day, as evening approached, Kate loaded her small car with supplies. She locked her house and drove out of town, taking a route they had agreed would be least noticeable. Mira met her at a designated point, several miles away, having walked through the forest in disguise. "We should reach the cabin before midnight," Kate said as Mira got into the car. "It is about 4 hours from here." They drove through the darkness, Kate explaining the human vehicle to Mira, who found it primitive but clever. They talked about what they would do at the cabin, how they would set up security, how long they might stay. They took back roads, avoiding main highways, where cameras might record their journey. About halfway to their destination, Kate's watch began to vibrate. The hunter warning Mira's wrist device showed the same alert. A hunter vehicle was approaching from behind, moving fast. "They must have tracked my movement," Kate said, gripping the steering wheel tighter. "They must have been watching the town." Mira checked her sensors. They were still 2 miles back, but gaining. "There is a side road ahead," she said. "My device shows it leading into forest land. We can lose them there." Kate turned onto the narrow dirt road, driving deeper into the trees. The car bounced over rough ground, headlights illuminating the dense forest ahead. "We need to get to the ship," Mira said. "Your car leaves traces they can follow, but my ship can move without detection." "How far is your ship from here?" Kate asked. Mira checked her devices. "About 10 miles north, but I can call it to us. The autopilot can bring it closer." She pressed several buttons on her wrist device, sending commands to her ship. It would take time, but the ship could reach them. Behind them, lights appeared on the road. The hunter vehicle had followed their turn. Kate drove faster, pushing the car to its limits on the rough road. They came to a small clearing and Kate stopped. "This is far enough," she said. "If we keep driving, they will catch us. We need to go on foot." They left the car, grabbing only what they could carry. Kate took a small pack with emergency supplies. Mira led the way into the trees using her night vision. They moved as quickly and quietly as possible. Mira could sense the electrical fields of the pursuing hunters, 3 of them now spreading out to search. The forest grew thicker as they climbed higher. Mira checked her device. Her ship was moving toward them, but would still take time to arrive. They needed to stay ahead of the hunters until then. Kate was breathing hard, struggling to keep pace in the dark forest. Mira took her hand, helping her over fallen logs and around bushes. They stopped briefly behind a large tree to rest. "Why are they so determined?" Kate whispered. "They must hunt many species. Why focus so much on finding you?" Mira had been wondering the same thing. They seemed too persistent for random hunters, she agreed. Something else must be happening. She thought about the timing. Her appearance. On Earth, the hunters' arrival so soon after. She had been careful, but perhaps not careful enough. In the distance they heard voices, the hunters calling to each other as they searched. "We must keep moving," Mira said. Her ship was still miles away, but moving closer. The hunters were gaining ground. They continued through the forest, climbing higher into the mountains. The terrain grew steeper, more difficult. Kate stumbled once, twisting her ankle. Mira helped her up, supporting her weight. They could not stop now. Suddenly they emerged from the trees onto a cliff edge. A steep drop lay before them, hundreds of feet down to a river below. They had reached a dead end. Mira checked her device. The hunters were closing in from 3 directions. Their only open path was down the cliff face, an impossible climb in darkness. "My ship will not reach us in time," Mira said with growing fear. "It is still too far." Kate looked around desperately, searching for options. Then she looked at Mira. "Do you trust me?" she asked. Mira replied without hesitation. Kate pointed to Mira's disguise device. "Turn it off," she said. "Show your true form." Mira was confused, but did as Kate asked. Her disguise shimmered and vanished, revealing her blue glowing skin and true alien features. "Now use whatever abilities your species has," Kate said. "The hunters are coming, but they expect a disguised alien and a human, not whatever you truly are." Mira understood. In her natural form, she had abilities the hunters would not expect. People could generate strong bioelectrical fields when threatened. It was a defense mechanism rarely used but powerful. As the hunters approached, breaking through the trees with weapons drawn, Mira gathered her energy. Her skin began to glow brighter, blue light pulsing from her body in waves. Kate stood beside her, unafraid. The hunters stopped, startled by the sight before them. They had expected an easy capture. Instead, they faced something they did not understand. Mira released her energy in a massive pulse. The hunters' devices sparked and failed their weapons, dropping useless to the ground. In that moment of confusion, Mira's ship arrived, hovering silently above them. The bottom hatch opened, bathing them all in blue light. "Now," Kate shouted. She grabbed Mira's hand and they ran toward the ship, jumping into the open hatch. The ship rose higher as the hunters recovered, trying to use backup weapons. But they were too late. Mira and Kate were safely inside the ship, moving rapidly away from Earth in the safety of the ship. Kate looked around, amazed by the living technology. "That was incredible," she said. "Your light, the energy pulse, I didn't know you could do that." Mira smiled, her black eyes shining. "It is a defense we rarely use," she explained, "but effective against electronic devices." She checked the ship's systems. "We are safe now. No pursuing craft." Kate looked out at the stars growing visible as they left Earth's atmosphere, where